federal minimum wage is $7.25 and hasn't been raised since 2009, which is ironic since the inflation, the cost of living, and pretty much everything else has risen tenfold. And believe it or not, there are still some people out there working jobs that pay this little, and they still somehow expect to retire or buy a home one day. Now, realistically, this not only feels impossible, but mathematically, it is impossible. So in this video, let's talk about how pretty much every generation is having a hard time scraping by these days, especially just for the similar amount of buying power that we had not too long ago. And if you've been liking my doomer-based content revolved around the world falling apart, then don't forget to like, comment your thoughts and opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily videos here on the channel. And a huge shout out to all you guys who've been going above and beyond and checking out some of those links down below in the description. Those are some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Also, a few of you guys have become members, so if any of you guys want to check out that membership link to become a YouTube channel membership, you can see these videos early, like 12 hours or a day early, just depends on how quickly I finish them, and that goes such a long way to support me and what I do over here, so thank you so much for that. Now, let's begin the shit show.
Is declining if he can't keep up with the inflation rate.
In many measures of a standard of living, Americans today are actually worse off. You can take my grandparents. My grandmother never worked, despite the fact that my grandfather was a carpenter, and they had 8 children. Could a carpenter, somebody without even a high school diploma, just working in a blue-collar job, support a wife and 8 kids today? Not a chance.
With inflation rising faster than incomes, people were forced into more and more drastic measures to maintain their standard of living.
With each new day, the work of a family begins again.
When we went off gold backing of the dollar, what used to happen prior to that is the husband went to work, the wife stayed at home, raised the family. Because of inflation in the 70s, the wife went to work. So now you had 2 incomes that were necessary to produce and buy the same goods and services. In the 90s, we stopped saving. The savings rate basically got down to 0 because people were spending. They couldn't save in order to buy the same goods and services. Then we got to the last decade. The wife was already working. The savings were down to 0. They borrowed money. And so we've gone from 2 earners getting rid of our savings rate to borrowing money to keep pace with inflation.
The average person is now
Kind of ironic how the more I do these videos and the more different, documentaries and movies I find touching on these certain subjects that I normally touch on here on the page, this whole conversation has been touched on and talked about for years, decades, for much longer than I've even been alive, being 25 years young that I am right now at the recording of this said video. And this little movie right here, this little old presentation, it's kind of formatted in the way that maybe boomers might understand more, and made by boomers. Not all of them are delusional. Some of them do genuinely understand what's going on in the world and the difference and change in society that is so common and so noticed if you just open your eyes and look around on the street or maybe even in your own home, which the closer it gets to home, the more people start to want to call out about it and stomp their foot down and kind of have a say, kind of make a stand. And now what really can we do? Not too much, but they do give us our phones, our freedom of speech, and they'll censor what we say, but at the same time, we still got what we can. So maybe if enough of us stand up, maybe we'll get back to, have somewhat of like a livable wage, but we're going to touch on that further in this video about how maybe not every pay or job is supposed to be a livable wage. Very controversial topic. I don't know if I agree with it, but let's hear it.
Not every wage, and please hear me clearly on this, not every wage is designed to be a livable wage. My 16-year-old son is not working for a livable wage. Someone who is retired and is helping out part-time, that is not necessarily a livable wage. What determines a livable wage is, in fact, the market. When we have government-mandated wages, what happens is there is an upward pressure on all wages. It's not about who makes currently $7.25 an hour. If you raise it to 15, 16, 17, 18, now what happens to the general manager who's making 20? And then what happens to the employee who's making 25?
Now, isn't this so funny hearing this from government representatives and state officials? Especially, so it's even more ironic, it's heavily ironic hearing the last video we just watched, and I just showed you guys, about how they kind of try to brainwash you and come up with these different reasons about how, like, you know what, guys, you guys are just overthinking this. You guys aren't really looking at the facts here. Well, let me just break it down how it really works. When it's like, if you really do some like comparisons and you kind of like talk to some people that are still alive, like, guys, the people that are, you know, that lived with the buying power in the first video that we watched, those people are still alive. Those are the people that own all the big homes and your grandparents that tell you to just work harder. And just get a fourth or a fifth job. You'll be fine, you know? But hard work, the grit, it builds you as a man. It builds character. No, Grandpa, I have anxiety these days, and my anxiety medication isn't working. That's not. I know it's not what they want to hear, but it's how it feels. So it really is kind of funny though, how it's like they'll try to gaslight us into thinking that, like, you know, we're just complaining, we're just butthurt, we just don't really see the truth. When then we show them the truth, it's like, well, I didn't expect you to actually, you know. Then they kind of just start throwing insults. Like, you guys are just lazy. You guys just, we still had to work hard. Now, fair enough. A lot of people did work hard for what they had. But if you look at the difference, it takes a lot more work these days to get the similar amount of payoff. And if you get compensated fairly, please let me know down below in the comments. But also, do you have to bust your ass and work multiple different jobs to have various different streams of incomes? Because many people, that is the case. They work, their significant other works. And hell, once the kid turns 16, he's out there mowing lawn, shoveling snow, because we need to pay these lights bills, okay? This shit's not cheap.
This frog flips burgers. He's on his feet all day. He makes your lunch, but can't afford his own. The federal minimum wage hasn't been raised since 2009. Most fast food workers make under $30,000 a year, and nearly half rely on public assistance just to survive. A job is a job. Dignity doesn't come from a title. Every soul deserves a livable wage.
Now, some of you might be thinking, I know frogs just like that. Hell, I am a frog just like that. Well, guys, who you're watching right now, you're looking at one. I am a frog just like that. And every day, 377 frogs suffer from, just like you and me, from living in the modern world. So if you want to help one frog out, one frog at a time, you can check out those links down below in the description. No, I'm just joking. I was trying to make one of those like commercials they used to make about like the dog, like dying dogs and cats, you know, and tell you to donate or else like you're selfish. I was trying to make it feel that way. I was just joking though, guys. But isn't this so ironic how maybe if you put in like a cartoon version, maybe if you make it like a little more silly, it still hits home. Did you guys not feel a little bit of like a oof that hit home a little bit? Because for me it did, and that's why it got thrown in the video. Now obviously we're trying to make it a little more lighthearted, some jokes here, throw a little bit of comedy. Can't all be doom and gloom around here on the channel. We're trying to get some laughs. But I feel like a frog, you know? I feel like I can fit in with this guy. And I feel like this guy is just in a similar boat as you and me and a lot of folks, especially the folks here that watch the channel. So feel free to let me know if you relate or if it was just a little bit too silly for you to get into. I'll wrap up today's video about how people are starving and the minimum wage isn't working and how $7.25 isn't livable and it's not 2009 anymore. So yeah, if you guys have like a time machine or something, probably go back a little bit further than that and you'll be a little better off than you are now. But either way, if any of you guys have any thoughts, opinions regarding anything that's been discussed here in today's video, feel free to throw all that down below in the comments. I love checking those out, responding to the ones I see fit. Huge shout out to you guys who go above and beyond and help out this solo frog over here. You can check those links down below in the description. Actually, a few more you guys than I expected have been checking those out, so I definitely appreciate that. It goes such a long way because life sucks and I experience the shitty parts. It's not all bad, but it could be better. So anyway, huge shout out to you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to check out my vast catalog of videos similar to this, and feel free to subscribe if you like stuff like this. See my daily videos that I post every day, random times. Sorry about that, but we're gonna get that in order. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.